AI has become a common buzzword in today's culture. But what does the introduction of artificial intelligence in orthodontics mean for the doctors? Will AI eventually replace orthodontists entirely? We'll talk about this and much more on today's show. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Ortho Thrive. I'm your host, Richie Gerzon. Today we have Marina Domracheva joining us. Marina is the founder and CEO of 3D Predict, a US-based company in dental care featuring AI-driven clear aligners. Marina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Richie. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. So why don't you just tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got to where you are today?
So I'm from Moscow originally. I'm from Moscow, Russia originally. I'm a medical doctor by training. I specialize in infectious diseases and vaccination. I was involved in clinical trials of vaccines, so we can talk about COVID and vaccination later in another podcast. So I found out about dental aligners in 2013 from a friend of mine. He was going to align his teeth with aligners, and he just asked me about aligners, but at that moment I knew nothing. And I just reached out to orthodontists and asked them when and why did they use aligners, when and why did they use braces, what was the difference. And I was so excited how the technology could change people's lives, because for sure it's a huge difference between between braces and aligners for patients.
Absolutely.
But at that time, majority of doctors that told me that they use aligners for mild cases. Some of them were not confident that like plastic trays could move teeth, and majority of them used only braces. Just because only metal wires could move teeth. It was 8 years ago, but still some doctors used aligners for many cases. And so I just was curious and excited how we could use technology to improve people's life and patient outcomes. And it was obvious for me that if we could develop a software which we could and use the software to design aligners to treat complex cases, it will be really like a breakthrough. It could really like disrupt the industry, and it really help a lot of patients and dentists and orthodontists as well.
So I understand you're using artificial intelligence. So let's tell us how that is incorporated into the system. How are you using AI?
So we started in 2014, and from the very beginning, our goal was to develop an effective tool for orthodontists to move teeth, because orthodontists won't move teeth. And if this is a device which they use could move teeth, and these devices at the same time is transparent, it's like great, but the major goal for all orthodontists was to move teeth. And I used my clinical research background to design studies, and we just were looking like different technologies. What could we use to develop our tool to develop effective dental aligners which orthodontists could treat to use complex patients? And we just were looking what was available in technology, and AI at that time and right now, artificial intelligence was a way how we could develop our software to develop an effective tool. I just can tell maybe a little bit about AI, because AI is a buzzword right now.
Absolutely. You hear it most in regards to social media and mainstream conversation, but it's all over the place.
Exactly. And you know that but it really brings a lot of value to social media. And so AI, it's artificial intelligence is a way to develop software. And it's pretty similar to human being, because we as human beings, we also use our intelligence to learn and to become better and smarter. And AI is a way when we develop a software and our software learned from experience, the same as people are learning from the experience. For example, doctors, orthodontists, the first year after residency, they could treat patients differently if they're like 15 years after the residency, because within these 15 years, they've learned on their cases, on their patients, and they become better and better over years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And we do the same with our software. So we utilize AI to develop our software. So our software is learned from clinical cases, from our clinical cases, and it allows our software to plan more predictable treatment. What is being like? What does it give to the patient, for example, to the doctor?
Yeah.
I will tell it gives more predictability to the doctor, so the doctor could be confident that if
that makes sense. So it's kind of forecasting a little better than you can kind of see what's going to happen in the future with more accuracy.
Yeah, exactly. So our software forecasts the staging, the tooth movement in a more accurate way, in a more predictable way. And why our software could make these like predictions? Because we like trained our software on like thousands of cases which we had before. So we started in 2014, and we have like thousands of completed cases. Some of these cases are successful, some of these cases are not successful. And we just gave these cases to the software, and we told the software, please learn from these cases how to plan these tooth movements more predictable, and what should you do and what you should not do. And at the end of the day, the doctor would get the more predictable like 3D plan and more predictable treatment. I would like to tell one example. For example, rotation of.
So you have data all the way back from
2006.
You have data all the way back from 2014 and loaded into the.
Yeah.
Wow, that is great, because I know that makes a huge difference on basically how smart the AI is how much.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about data, for sure. It's all about data. If you.
So do you think?
So
do you think AI is like slowly replacing orthodontists? What is this relationship here?
So AI will never replace orthodontists. We, as a tech company, we develop a tool based on AI, and orthodontists use our tool to get more predictable treatment. I could compare it to self-driving cars. For example, you as a driver are going to use your self-driving car to go from Charleston to New York. Yeah. And only you as a driver know why and when and what you're going to do in New York. And you just use your self-driving car to make your trip more comfortable, faster, and easier. And your car will know when to turn left, when to turn right, when to stop. And the same with aligners, with our tool. So we just provide more predictable tool for orthodontists to achieve their treatment goals. For example, I just can tell you about upper lateral incisors, because nobody likes upper lateral incisors. They're very difficult to move. A lot of refinements are related to them. And if orthodontists would like to achieve 30-degree rotation of upper lateral incisors, with our AI, with 3D Predict dental liners, orthodontists will just approve 3D plan with like 30-degree rotation in this 3D plan, and they could be confident that they will get this result. We've done an internal study on 106 patients, and 77% of rotations were achieved without refinements. So that is being said, 8 out of 10 patients achieved rotations without refinements.
Wow, and that's great.
Yeah, really. And it's all due to AI. For example, if we compare to published data of like non-AI dental aligners, the predictability, the tooth movement accuracy of like upper lateral and rotations, for example, is 30 to 50%. So depending on brand and the study.
That's a huge difference, 30 to 50% compared to 80%. Okay, wow.
Yeah, it's all about, and it's all because of AI, because we learned from our thousands of cases which we treated before, and we just learned how to plan better, how to do the better staging for doctors to achieve rotations. So but we still need a prescription from the doctor because orthodontist is the king in orthodontic treatment. We get all the orthodontist provides us information. What should be the final result? Does orthodontist want to achieve class 1 or class 2 is okay? And we just will design predictable aligners, design and manufacture predictable aligners for doctors to achieve their treatment goals.
I got you. Okay. So that's what 3D Predict is all about, is just giving us more accuracy and be able to more foresight. That's great. All right. So I don't have any idea what this is, and that's unusual. So what is cone beam computed tomography, and why do we care?
So it's very important for orthodontics because we move teeth inside the bone. So it's very important, to include bone into the treatment. And we developed software for root and bone-based treatment planning in 2016. It's also AI-based software. And by 2018, we already had completed cases based on roots and bone. And we use this data set of completed cases, successful and non-successful cases, to train, to learn, to improve our algorithms. And what it gives to doctors. So if doctors have CBCT, and they submit CBCT, when they submit a case, they will see real roots movement inside the bone. They will see, for example, long canine root is leading up against the maxillary sinus. They could see if they will actually plan the tooth movement within the alveolar housing. They will plan predictable arch expansion within the bone. They will plan predictable distalization. So it's very important. It's all about predictability, and CBCT just provides better predictability for the treatment. But as I mentioned before, so we've got like thousands of cases, completed cases. And also if doctors do not have CBCT, they will still benefit from like more predictable tooth movement, because we use these cases to design to improve our algorithms. For example, we know what is on average based on root and bone based cases, what is an average bodily expansion possible, and when should we do like bodily arch expansion, when we should add like tipping, and how to do more predictable distalization, how to do more predictable rotation. So doctors, if they don't have CBCT, they will also benefit from more predictable protocols of tooth movement.
So all this is to help aligners be useful in more complicated cases, right? These are the complex cases that you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does 3D Predict aligners work differently than other aligners in the market? Is there anything else?
So it's all about predictability, and 80% of our cases are complex cases, like real orthodontic cases. So, and doctors could use 3D Predict instead of braces to treat their patients effectively. And like our AI allows them to do so. So we are not just transparent, but we're also effective aligners. Our doctors who use 3D Predict, they use it to like treat class 2 patients, deep bite patients, just using aligners. They don't use like hybrid treatment. They don't use compromised outcomes. And it's all due to AI, because our software provides more predictable treatment planning. And at the end of the day, doctors could get more predictable treatment. Like majority of our patients are really like complex patients, real class 2 patients, which need 2 or 3 millimeter distalization, like arch expansion, rotation. And this is the key differentiation that orthodontists could use to predict dental aligners to treat faster and more predictably complex patients. And at the end of the day, it prevents refinements and corrections and reduces the treatment time almost by 30%.
Yeah, so what is the typical treatment time? Do you have that data yet?
Yeah, we have this data. It depends on the complexity, of course.
Yeah,
Majority of our patients are class 2 patients, which require 2 or 3 millimeter distalization. So average duration is 18 or 24 months. But of course, we have like shorter cases which could be achieved within 6 months if it's only about like front teeth alignment. But majority of cases, like up to year and a half, 2 years treatment duration.
Yeah, that makes sense. So are the liners made of the same material as other competitors, or is that any different?
There are like, actually there have been no like breakthrough in materials or in 3D printing for the last 30 years. And everybody uses pretty much the same printers, pretty much the same materials. So we use like industry standard plastic, and it's more about software which we use to design our liners rather than plastic, because we achieve our results based on the software and the way how we do the treatment planning rather than the plastic.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'd be nice if aligners became recyclable. I know that's a topic that people talk about. So hopefully that material science will catch up soon.
Yeah, I think it will be great. Yeah, it will be great. It will be a great breakthrough.
So from the patient's point of view, what would you say using your system is, how is it different than using another system from the patient's point of view?
From patient point of view, I think they're more happier because, as I mentioned, we use like majority of our patients, like class 2 patients, like complex patients. And if this patient come to orthodontic office, in majority of cases, they are not eligible for other aligners. And for example, clinically they're not eligible to other aligners, but at the same time, they don't want braces. And
Yes.
What would be their like choice? Hybrid treatment or braces, or like compromise treatment when they will not get, class 1 occlusion, they will get like a little bit alignment on front teeth. And with 3D Predict, orthodontists could really treat these patients effectively, not only like transparently, but also effectively. And so these patients, they could get really efficient orthodontic treatment, get really good results. And at the same time, they will get all benefits of aligner treatment. It's comfortable, transparent, easy to use. So
an office really could, if their share of chairs like 50% braces, 50% Invisalign, they could really increase aligner treatment.
Yeah,
considerably.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. So what are like the greatest benefits to the patients? Is there anything else like that's for your system?
I think it's
compared to traditional braces, I should say, not compared to other aligners.
If you compare to traditional braces, the major benefit which doctors get, they could achieve distalization only using our aligners without additional appliances. Because if doctors would like to treat class 2 patients, they need to do distalization. And first of all, they use different appliances to do this distalization. And with 3D Predict dental aligners, they could achieve 2 to 4 millimeter distalization without additional appliances, really predictably. And this is a major benefit for doctors. And it reduces like chair time. And if the chair time is reduced, it improves the profit margin for doctors. And they also—
That's what I was thinking. Reduced chair time would probably be one of the biggest benefits for the doctor. Because if you say you have just one office and you want to just get the maximum profit out of it, that's another way to do it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Increase your aligner patients.
And also you could increase your profit per patient, but you also could increase your revenue because you could open up your schedule for new patients just because you reduce chair time.
Is that probably the major or biggest financial gain for an orthodontist, is that bandwidth that opens up because of having more aligner patients, right?
I think yes. Yeah.
Do you work in conjunction with any other companies like dental monitoring?
Some of our doctors, they use dental monitoring or some other devices, to monitor treatment or to facilitate treatment. So it really helps, because of course, aligners is all about patient compliance. And so, of course, if doctors, and it's because aligners, they work only if they are on patient mouth. They don't work when they're in your pocket. So that is being said, it's very important, to try to increase the patient compliance. So some of our doctors, they use like dental monitoring or some other devices to track tooth movement or to facilitate the tooth movement.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So from the patient's point of view, there's not an additional app or anything that they're following. It's really the doctor just has that predictability, right?
It's what we provide. Just provide more predictable treatment for the doctor, and of course, patient would benefit from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest reason the doctor should choose your company over others?
Maybe there are three major reasons. First of all, they would get like more predictable, like rotation, more predictable treatment. They would get like the predictability of rotations is 77%. The predictability of arch expansion is almost 90%.
Wow.
Doctors could achieve distalization faster if you compare to braces or other aligners. And if doctors have CBCT, they could see the real roots movement inside the bone. And it's very important that they could move teeth within the alveolar housing. So we've developed our root and bone-based treatment software based on AI. So it provides really precise models, creates really precise models of roots and bone. So it also increases the predictability and safety of orthodontic treatment, because it's very important to move teeth also inside the bone, inside the alveolar housing.
Yes, absolutely. That makes sense. Can you tell us a little bit about the cost of your aligners?
We have like different type of cases, short cases, full cases. For example, it depends. So the full case with CBCT with roots and bone based planning is 1,800. That full case, like unlimited case without roots and bone, is 1,600. Of course, we have like limited cases, which are 1,100. But as I mentioned, majority of our cases are like real orthodontic cases. So orthodontists usually they select unlimited case, the unlimited cases from us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it your lab fee situation similar to how Invisalign works with their lab fee?
It's pretty similar. It's a little bit less, but yeah, it's pretty similar.
It makes sense. I mean, it does. You have to do a lot there.
Yeah. It's also very important for orthodontists, maybe not only compare the lab fee, but also the chair time and the overall like profit per patient. They spend less, and of course, orthodontists they have their chair time is very expensive.
Absolutely.
So if they could reduce number of refinements, they could like save a lot of money on chair time.
Yes, you have to look at it holistically. I totally agree. As a business owner, you can't just take one little piece and make a decision based off that. So would you consider 3D Predict as a marketing differentiator for a doctor? Is it something you would talk about in your marketing?
I think yes. First of all, because orthodontists could use 3D Predict to treat their patients. I mean, treat their patients effectively, treat their complex patients effectively. And it's very important that they could use 3D Predict to treat complex patients and achieve good results, not compromised results, not to make some type of hybrid treatment. And this is very important. And AI, which we use to design our aligners, actually allows them to do so.
Yeah, so it could be an ad like, has someone told you that aligners can't treat you, get a second opinion and come to us? And yes, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my clients does that just because she's such an expert in aligners that people didn't realize that they could use them in general. So you tie that with the technology like this to make a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you supply any marketing materials for your clients when they sign up with you?
Yeah, sure. I think we are digital, and so most of orthodontists they also promote them in digital ways. So we provide them with marketing materials for their websites, for their social media, and also I think the 3D plan, our 3D plans, they also act as a promotional material. Some of our doctors, they just show 3D plan, the roots movement inside the bone, the 3D plan to their patients, also and they explain patients why they use 3D Predict to treat their their particular case, why it's predictable, which outcomes should they get. So some doctors even use 3D plan, as a marketing material, the digital marketing material, and it's also very effective.
Absolutely. That's what matters. It's nice to have it, but it's much nicer when it actually works.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there an ideal doctor that would be a good fit for 3D Predict?
I think majority of doctors, they are like ideal doctors. First of all, because we have a perfect match with orthodontists. They want their goal is to move teeth. They want to move teeth to achieve their treatment goals. And we at 3D Predict, we developed a technology which allows them actually to move teeth effectively. And at the same time, we provide them a transparent treatment. And it's just a bonus to this effective treatment. So first of all, they could treat their patients effectively. They could treat their complex patients effectively. And also they could treat patients in a transparent way using transparent aligners. So patients also be happy, to have this transparent treatment. So that is being said, I think we're like a perfect match with orthodontists because we try to achieve the same goal to treat patients effectively, not only like in an aesthetic way, but also an effective way.
Yes. And I know that orthodontists like predictability. That's always very highly sought after just in general in business.
Yes, exactly. And they, if they use, for example, aligners and which do not aligners which designed without AI, and they, for example, would like to achieve the 30-degree rotation of lateral incisors. So they would plan on overcorrections. They would plan 40 degrees overcorrection in treatment plan.
Yes.
And, to achieve the 30-degree rotation in real life. Or they would, or they would use like some elastics or some other appliances to achieve this correction, to achieve this rotation. Or they would use like additional refinement, additional liners to achieve this rotation of lateral incisors. And so of course they want predictability. Orthodontists want to have predictable tool. So they want to be confident that if they approve 3D plan and there is a 30-degree rotation there, they would achieve it. And the same like with braces is the same situation. So we develop, actually we're a technological company and we develop tool based on doctors' needs. We just add them what they wanted, and they wanted more predictable treatments. They wanted to know what's inside the bone and how roots are moving inside the bone. And so we use technology to provide them with this predictable tool.
That's awesome. Being able to see what's happening inside the bone. That's amazing that we can do that.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the horizon you'd like to announce? Anything happening?
So right now we're in a process of getting FDA approval for patients with mixed dentition. And also we are working on to add some features to our software, which would also increase predictability of aligner treatment. So awesome. We are constantly, as I mentioned, we've developed this software in 2016, but we've been always improving it, just to improve predictability. And we could also compare like our software in 2016 and our software in 2021 is a huge difference. So just because we are also learning from every case, our software is learning from every case.
Yes. And
it becomes better and better.
Great. Okay, so if a doctor's interested in 3D Predict, how should they get started? What should their action be?
So they could go to our website, 3dpredict.com, and they could fill in a form, and our technological consultant will reach out to them. So we have technological consultants in the US, and they all across the East Coast. And if doctors are not working on the East Coast, we will have a remote Zoom calls with them.
Yeah.
And then we'll explain them how to submit a case, what are the benefits, which patients could be treated using 3D Predict dental aligners. For example, we will share the data our studies, how we the results of our rotation, arch expansion or distalization, how to treat no deep bite cases, how to treat severe crowding, and but it's more about technology and study. But from the process perspective, it's pretty much the same for orthodontists. How to submit the case? They just need to submit intraoral scans, photos, radiological images, and what's more important, fill in the prescription, because as I mentioned, we use our software to follow the doctor's prescription.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so go to the website and get started.
Yeah.
Marina, is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up?
I just wanted, to share that we are a technological company and we're using AI to develop a predictable tool for orthodontists to treat their patient. And so that's how I'm so happy that technology could improve people's life, both patients and orthodontists and dentists. And so all we do, just to provide you more predictable treatment, how you could move your teeth from point A to point B. And Richard, thank you so much for inviting me, for hosting me at your podcast. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on. I love learning more about the industry, and you guys are right on the cutting edge. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
And, I guess we will have to talk about some of your other expertise in another podcast. I think that'll be a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Take it easy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. There are a lot of aligner companies out there, but how many of them are using artificial intelligence to make your practice better, more efficient, more profitable, and help you predict a little bit better the outcome of your patients? Marina really showed us how 3D Predict can do that, so it might be time for you to consider using artificial intelligence in your practice. If you want to be a guest or you have an idea for a future episode, you can go to orthothrive.com. You can contact me at richard@orthosalesengine.com. Keep grinding, keep thriving, and I'll see you next time.